All right, let's skook 'em, boys.
Skookum Flats forms a couplet with the White River Trail. It's the trail that you ride on the other side of the White River to get back to the beginning of your ride, or something like that. The White River and Skookum Flats Trail are like both on opposite sides of the 410 trails. Skookum actually starts at the Silver Springs campground, but the part of the trail from Silver Springs to where it crosses the 7160 road is dumb, so you don't have to ride it. I mean, we did ride it from where it meets up with the Suntop Trailhead at the south end of the Ranger Creek Airport, so I did actually ride most of it. And to be honest, from there, it even seems to be kind of an abandoned trail. We actually rode this south section after riding the north section the day before because we rode this section to get back to our cars after shuttling the Suntop Trail, which I'll talk about in another review. Anyway, the trail sort of just dawdles along aimlessly through here along relatively flat forest where it looks like a lot of people camp out or stay for the day. Folks were boondocking here because there was some sort of ultra marathon event going on up here the weekend we were riding it. But there you go. It's like a mile. You don't really need to ride that part of the trail. So anyway, this is the fun end of the trail. Also, before I say anything, you absolutely want to ride this trail from south to north. This trail is hard enough as it is, and like every river trail, it's uphill both ways. It's just that it's more uphill going north to south, so ride it south to north. That said, at only about 6 miles long with 800 feet of descending and 250 feet of climbing, this isn't even a proper single sandwich ride. Just bring some energy bars. This side of the canyon is the cool side of the canyon, both literally and figuratively, although it was decidedly not cool the day we rode it on the hottest day of the year. Of course, if you want to be cool, you'll navigate to patreon.com/voiceovertrails and sign up to support informational content like this. Also, don't forget to goose the algorithm by clicking like and subscribing if you haven't already. I loved this trail. I loved it so ridiculously much. I think I love this trail more than I love the Lewis River Trail, and that's saying a lot. I mean, it starts out relatively easy like this. Easy, but still challenging enough to be interesting, and it goes through all this magical, deep, dark Pacific Northwest forest. I love how it just drew me in, beckoning me to come see more, to arrive and enjoy. After the first mile or so, the trail really freshens up the pace a little bit. It's by no means a shred fest, but that's not why you should be riding this magical trail anyway. What makes this trail fun are all the natural features. What makes this trail fun is the fact that it's not a bike trail. There are so many roots and rocks and undulations everywhere that just make it an absolute festival of bike handling extravaganza. But what really adds to the pleasure is that there's just enough of a downhill grade to make most of the features rideable if you keep your speed up. After about mile 3, the trail really starts to get interesting. I said it's not a bike trail, and that becomes readily apparent once you get this far in. On top of all the features in the tread, and by feature, I actually just mean rocks and roots, some of which you can turn into jibs or jumps if you're really good. This trail is full of tight and twisty turns that really require some, deliberate bike handling. A trail designer who was trying to get on your nerves could not have designed this better. The natural flow of this trail is just something magical to behold. It is something to be appreciated. And the mossy forest doesn't hurt either. It's just darned pretty in here, and I loved it. There's also lots of pretty dramatic cliff exposure over the river with plenty of sketchy benches that are just barely passable. It's absolutely a river trail in every sense of what you know about a river trail. It's just such a joyous and delightful obstacle course in here where things really start getting steep. Now, normally it's perfectly reasonable, or at least it seems perfectly reasonable, to ride a hardtail on a river trail. I mean, you look at the elevation numbers and you think, well, it's next to a river, so how shred-tastic could it get? That is not the case here. Just don't ride a hardtail on this trail. You absolutely want to ride your full suspension bike on this. It's the rare cross-country experience that uses up all your travel. I was on a transition patrol and it did not feel like too much bike for this trail. In fact, it was just right. So whatever travel you have, just bring all your travel. 170 millimeters didn't feel like a problem. It was practically perfect in every way. Just look at these features. Look how crazy this rides. I mean, I was having such a great time on this trail, and I was riding this trail on the hottest day of the year. I already told you that, but it was so hot. You know, the kind of hot where when you stop, you just feel the heat rushing to your head, and I didn't care. That's how great this trail is. I was enjoying myself so much that, I just riding this exhausting trail on a hot day, I was still in a great mood. Just even talking about this trail 2 months later puts me in a great mood. Okay, this trail may not be for everyone. If you don't like rock gardens like this, then you won't enjoy this trail. Well, it turns out I do like rock gardens like this, so I had a great time. But before you ride this trail, you should ask yourself, am I a giant whiny baby? And if the answer to that question is yes, I am a giant whiny baby, well, then maybe you should reconsider. But if you are not, in fact, a giant whiny baby, then there is a ridiculous amount of good fun to be had in this canyon. This trail has the same joyfulness as the Suisun Trail, but like way chunkier. And oh yeah, there's also the matter of this one unrideable section. It's not rideable, kind of near the end where you'll have to carry your bike. I mean, yeah, there's that. It's a real thing. So what? It'll be over soon. If you don't ever have to pick up the bike, then you're not really mountain biking, are you? Now, once you're done with it, you can get back on the bike and ride some more awesome and challenging but high consequence rock gardens on narrow bench. That's what you came for, right? At least I hope that's what you came for, or else you're going to be really disappointed. There's just so much up and down on this trail, and I never got tired of any of it. I think what really sets it apart among river trails is that it has everything a river trail needs to have, but it all comes in perfect bite-sized morsels. So unlike other river trails that can get monotonous and exhausting, you never really have a chance to get tired of anything on this. It's like tapas for mountain biking. You'll know you're near the end because the trail smooths out significantly, as trails often do as one nears civilization. My suggestion, if you're looking to make a weekend of it, is to reserve a site at the Dalles campground, and then you can just cross the road bridge and jump on the Dalles River Trail, which will take you back to the campground. Also fun is to find a place to boondock up in the mountains around here, because there are lots of places for dispersed camping all over the forest along the Highway 410. By the way, if you were wondering why this collection of trails is referred to as the 410 trails, well, that's why. The Highway 410 goes through here. It's this whole area that's kind of near the entrance to Mount Rainier National Park. I'd like to take this moment to thank all my Patreon supporters, especially my Low Me Goodness level sponsors Andy Suery, Charles Kim, Damon Corey, and Randy Reliford. I'd also like to thank my Hero Dirt level sponsors earning their special mention at the end of this video: Bryce Ulrich, Dave PNW, Devin Young, Edward Lanton, Heather Von Valkenburg, Jason Moore, and Pedro Cantarini. If you'd like to join this group of fine patrons supporting this strange art form, navigate to patreon.com/voiceovertrails and choose a sponsorship level that seems appropriate for you. Now, get out there and go ride your bike.